Hi, this is Dodger, and you're watching my show.
Three, two, one, ready, go!
So we just got done with Manga Pod. I'm filming this on Tuesday night, and we read a manga called Innocent that was so good, like extremely gory, and there were a couple titties in it, so like maturity warning, right? But oh my god, the art in this was incredible. It was historical and all about people that actually like existed. It was so fascinating. It takes place during the French Revolution and follows a family of executioners. It's just real brutes. It's real brutes, guys. But we loved it. We all gave it like 9s and 10s and singing its praises, and yeah, so you should read that. Kind of flipping the format right now by accident, realizing normally I end one of these with a here's a manga you should check out, or here's an anime you should look. Read Innocent, it's so good. But for our first piece of anime news, I just want to say the Welcome to the Ballroom teaser is so pretty. Like at first, so they put out a big list where they showed the voice actors, for any of you who are super interested in that, as well as, you know, the breakdowns of all of the characters where they're like standing like this and then standing like this and that kind of a thing. And at that point I wasn't totally convinced, and I'm not sure why, but seeing it in action and seeing the way that they're going to be animating all of the dancing in it, I was like, oh yes. Oh yes. Welcome to the Ballroom is currently a manga. It's being turned into an anime by Production IG, I believe. And it's, you know, it follows the very classic story of here's a main character who doesn't know what they want to do with their life. Feels like it's spiraling out of control, but then they discover dance. As a former dancer myself, I appreciate a good story about dance changing people's lives, I'm not gonna lie. But it looks fantastic. I'll totally link you guys in the description if you're somebody who's been reading the manga and has been very excited for the anime. If you haven't seen this teaser, it's gonna get you so hyped. I have not read the manga, but I've heard that it's fantastic, and just looking at this teaser makes me really want to watch the anime, so I'll probably wind up doing both. Kaminori Wakasugi, who is the creator of, I was gonna say Devil May Cry, video games out, anime in, Detroit Metal City. For any of you who have never seen Detroit Metal City, you gotta. It's so dumb. Anyway, so Kaminori is going to be working on a new manga. This isn't the first one since oh my god. This isn't the first one since Detroit Metal, oh my god. This isn't the first one since Detroit Metal City. I don't know what's happening to me. I almost said Detroit Metal Cry. That's how bad this is. It's because they're both shortened to DMC, and it's, anyways. But yeah, May 12th, there's going to be a new manga called Rhyming Man coming out. The only thing that we know is that it still maintains with the whole music theme of pretty much all of the manga that he's written. We don't know very much about it beyond that though. Man, Detroit Metal City ended in 2010, and then he did one called All Esperdayo in 2009, and Sekai wa Boku no Mono in 2015. So he's been keeping busy. It looks like this one is going to focus on a rapper. So I'm down. I would love to see a manga about rap. Let's do this. And if it could also be just as weird as Detroit Metal City, that would also be great. Production IG is going to be keeping pretty busy because they're also going to be working on an adaptation for a horror manga called Karada Sagashi. It's going to be a short form. I feel like a lot of horror manga is short form, or rather the anime adaptations of horror manga usually wind up being in sort of bite-sized chunks and also toned down a lot. And I always wonder if that's because they don't know where exactly they can market it, like how exactly they're going to make money off of it, if that makes sense. But yeah, Karada Sagashi, it follows a group of students, classic horror. It follows a group of students who are like kind of Groundhog Day style reliving a day in which a bunch of people were murdered. And they have to fulfill some kind of a prerequisite in order to live through it. I don't know. Regardless, it's apparently gotten very good reviews as a manga, so people are excited to see it as a short form anime. I am curious to see whether or not, because it sounds like it's pretty brutal, I'm curious to see whether or not they'll stick with that brutality, or if they're gonna tone it down in order for it to be more marketable. And actually, speaking of that, I totally forgot about the fact that it's only going to be on Production IG's app. Like, Production IG has an app now called Tate Anime, and it's only going to be on there So I don't know. It'll be coming out in summer. It's gonna be part of the summer lineup, but I wonder, like, if that's gonna wind up being sort of the new norm. We've seen that a lot with Western television channels have created a situation where it's like, oh, you missed the episode? Well, you better download our app and watch it there, right? Like maybe anime is going to start also following that kind of a format. That would be interesting. But for any of you horror fans who have been like, well, where's my anime at? You're getting a new one in summer. So for those of you who don't know, the Keijo manga actually ended rather abruptly, in a way where it caused a lot of people to sort of concoct reasons. As we all know, sometimes when things are translated, it's not super clear what the translation is. People jump to conclusions based on a word being translated sort of poorly given the context. So what I have heard a lot before even researching it, before even like really looking into it, what I've heard a lot is that the anime didn't do very well, which seems like a lie. The anime didn't do very well, and so the production company for the anime went to the mangaka and said, it's because your manga sucks. And then the mangaka was like, okay, I guess I'll cancel it. Like that's been the weird rumor that's been going around, is that the anime didn't sell well and he was pressured to end it, which seems bizarre. So after doing a bit more research into the way that things were translated, things were definitely blown out of proportion, right? It sounds like the mangaka, poor Bab, mangaka was not able to keep up with the weekly manga schedule very well. They managed to always meet their deadlines, but was having a lot of health problems, was not sleeping, etc. Really wanted another assistant, but the people who represented him kept saying, you know, oh, we'll find you an assistant, but they wouldn't. They just like couldn't find anybody. And so overall, it sounds like he was saying, I didn't feel like I was supported very much. Like I wish that I had gotten a bit more support, but canceling it, I already planned on canceling it. And when the anime was over, I was told, like, if you're gonna cancel it, now is a good time, basically. It may be a sudden ending, but the truth is I was told before the anime aired to wrap up the manga when the anime ended. End the manga, I was told, almost kind of like it was being canceled. But on that note, I think it's fine to talk about it now. People were making a fuss about how the anime's first Blu-ray volume bombed and only sold 715 discs. In actual fact, it's selling much better than that. The number was off by a decimal place. As a result, the manga ended simply because of my lack of skills and the publisher situation. To be honest, I do wish that Shogakukan had given me a bit more support. They spent almost half a year looking for an assistant for me, but they never found one at all. I generally worked on the manga with help from another person, but there were times I would get so worn out from drawing alone I'd get sick and collapse. Various other things happened, and there was times when I couldn't muster the mental energy to draw. My assistant encouraged me, the anime staff worked hard, and my editor supported me as much as they could as an individual. I was somehow able to finish the story without missing my deadlines. To be honest, I did want to draw a race in the last stretch and show how hard Aoba had worked, but oh well, it can't be helped. Shout out to Kim Morrissey, by the way, who grabbed all of this information, verified the translations, and put them all into an article on Crunchyroll. You are the major VIP. But yeah, to me it sounds like he definitely wasn't getting as much support as he would have liked, but also the weekly manga schedule was not the right lifestyle for him, right? As a person who really enjoyed Keijo, I'm sad. I hope that we see more of the anime because I think it's just ridiculous in a great way. But if stopping the manga means that the mangaka gets to have a better quality of life, then that's absolutely worth it. And as a final bit of news, Yuri on Ice is getting a movie. That's right, any of you who saw the end of the anime and you were like, surely that's not it. Surely my boys will be back. As a finale for their big Yuri on Stage event, they decided to announce that they were working on a brand new movie. There was some concern that it could potentially be a movie that just grabs the story of the anime and just puts it into movie form. They've confirmed that is not what it is. It's completely original, new stuff. The amount of people in my life who love Yuri on Ice, even now that the anime is done, they're still just like obsessing over it, is incredible to me. So it absolutely makes sense that they would be making a movie, right? That they would figure out some kind of a follow-up that they can do. Maybe it'll give fans a bit more closure as well. Some people were not satisfied with the ending. So yeah, cool announcement. And as I said earlier, my recommendation for this week is that you go read Innocent. But also maybe you should sit down and watch Devil May Cry. Maybe you should sit down and watch Detroit Metal City, because that is an older anime that is just so fantastic. But that's been my show. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a positive or a negative response, feel free to leave it in my comment section. And if you would like to watch my streams, you can find them at twitch.tv/dexbonus. Thank you all so much for watching. If this is your first video of mine ever, I hope that you enjoyed. And if you did, I hope you hit subscribe. Otherwise, hopefully I'll see you in the future, and you have a fantastic life. All right, bye-bye. Mwah. Oh my God.